I'm going to start with 4 pounds of clay. And this is a plate. Normally for a dinner plate, you start with, I usually start with 5 pounds. So I'm going to do a little smaller one. But the process, this is the same. Ideally, you throw it on a bat, a removable board, so that way you can take the plate off without distorting it. But I will show you how without a bat. Okay, so dampen the bat a little bit. Well-wedged piece of clay. Make sure you don't have any holes in the bottom. And usually softer clay is better than harder clay. Everything starts out the same. Nice medium speed. Get that clay centered and sealed onto the bat. So once you have it centered, remember, if you wedge it better, you take your time wedging. It's a lot easier to center. Now on plates, they're flat, so softer the clay, usually the better. So I've got it centered, have the clay off the edge. Now I'm going to go and push my heel into the middle of the ball of clay. Go down a little bit, don't go down all the way, and then pull your arm out towards you. And then push down that edge again. I'm going to do it again. Push down in the middle, the heel of my hand. You see, I'm almost opening it with the heel of my hand now. And bring that clay out towards you. Now it's very important, there's a gap here. Every time you do that, you push down, and then with your left hand, push in. And reseal that edge. I'm going to do it again. And I'm pulling that clay out, making it wider, a low wide hump. Seal the edge. One more time. Maybe more. Now you have to be aware, you want the middle of the plate to be the lowest. So this time I'm going to push down to about the depth I want. I want to leave about 1/2 inch so I can trim a nice foot, and then pull the clay towards me. Spreads out, and before I get to the very edge, I'm stopping. I'm just going to push down there. So what's happening is the heel of my hand here is creating a nice curve. That's the beginning of your plate. Now I'm going to come back. This is very important to do. Compress. So it's like diving into a swimming pool. Take your fingertip, and it's just this lead finger that's doing all the work. And start from the outside and work your way into the center. Again, making center's the lowest point, and it's a beautiful shallow curve. Flat plates are very popular, but they're very difficult to make without warping, as the glaze has a tension and can actually bring that center of the clay up in the final firing. So do this several times. And get out your rib. Now, the best rib to use for this is the metal rib. It's got a gentle curve, and this is a good time to practice. You don't have any wall there yet. So you put the rib down. You're just a little bit past the 3 o'clock point, and rest it and push down. And move that rib out to the outside edge. Still not a plate. I need to make the walls. So now This is the trick. This is what I'm going to show you. You take the sponge, you wrap it around your finger like this, and you're going to be pushing it down against the wheel and tilting your finger a little bit. So the finger is going to be against the clay. You're going to push in, the wall will come up. Then on the inside hand, it comes up and pushes that clay against the outside. So here we go. I'm going to push in. See it go up? Now I'm going to take and cruise over that edge. I don't want that to go lower there, so I'm going to just cruise over that curve and then start putting pressure about here and bring it up against my outside finger. Now it's a good idea to leave that top edge a little bit thicker, so hesitate before you get to the top and let it go around a few times. So it's not going straight up and down, it's not going way out yet. It's at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to do this again, supporting it on the outside and pulling the clay up against my outside finger. Slow the wheel down a little bit as you're doing it. Keep that outside edge true. It's like a very shallow bowl now. Now I'm going to finish trimming it just with my fingertips. Again, avoiding that curve there. I'm going to dig in a bit here and thin that plate. Okay, at this point, might be a good idea just scrape some of that slip off the outside edge. Makes it just a wee bit stronger. Now you take your rib up again and do the same thing you did before. Take the rib, place it down in the plate, and give it a push. And it will go down. Go to the center. And you can go from the center out. Now, this is one kind of plate. It's still a little bit on the deep side. A plate I like to make has a fairly flat rim, so there isn't quite as much space for food, but more space to decorate. So the way you do that is you take your rib again, rest it on the outside edge, and just hold it there. Now I'm using the flat side. And bring that edge down. Fix that inside contour. Now when you do a flat rim plate like this, always make sure that it's not absolutely flat when you make it. Because if it's flat in the glaze firing, it gets soft again and can go down. So always keep it up at a bit of an angle, and that'll help keep it from collapsing on you in the final firing. Last thing you want to, well, not quite the last thing, you want to round out that edge with a chamois. This is a commercial thing that works like a chamois. Take the point of the stick and push it underneath to get a nice point where that wire can go cut through. And before you take it off the wheel, run the wire under it. If you don't, it's very hard to get that wire through later. Also, the clay will shrink and possibly crack. So just Run it through now while it's easy. So there's the plate. I'll leave that to dry overnight, and then I'll come back and trim it tomorrow.